But I'm super excited to be talking tonight about influence and having influence. So I was kind of thinking for a long time, like, what am I going to talk about on this Monday night call? Because I don't want to walk through another thing that we should know where to find a resource or what we should be doing at this section of the month or anything like that. I really wanted to figure out, okay, how can we put some personal growth into this? And so a while back, I listened to a podcast by John Maxwell. He has a podcast out there. I listened to it on Spotify. It's great. We've read his books. We call him Uncle John because he just is like, I feel like this is not how you should think about it, but I feel like there's like Jesus, God, like everybody else, and then there's like in this upward place, there's John Maxwell, who's very wise and very faith-based, and respect him and stuff like that with his leadership. So, anyways, he's kind of right up there. He'll have a good seat in heaven, I think, because he's just great. But, anyways, he had a podcast series, and it was 2 parts. So I'm going to try to do all this in 30 minutes. So bear with me. I'm going to go speedy fast. But he talked about being an influencer and what that means. And so we, in our world, in network marketing and Plexus, as people in general, we have influence. Whether you think it or not, you have an influence. You are influencing people every single day. Maybe not necessarily to buy something, as we see the word influencer now, because it's used so just like meh influencer, because that's what the social media world, if you can get people to buy something through your link, then you're considered an influencer. But we are all people of influence. We are all guiding people, paving the way for people, setting an example for people, making an impact on people, encouraging people. All of those things are adding value and influencing people. If you weren't on a second ago, bear with me. I feel a sore throat coming on, so if I'm a little quieter or scratchier today, then I'm sorry. But influence is something that everybody has. But I would probably dare to say we all want more of it, because we know in the end it's going to help us make a bigger impact, and then therefore grow our business, grow our network, grow what we're trying to do. So everybody wants more of it. And so John Maxwell says that leadership, by the way, this is none of my words, so don't think like, oh my gosh, great training. This is straight up John Maxwell. I'm just adding in like 5% of me. But John Maxwell says that leadership is all about influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So your level of leadership is based off of your level of influence. So how do we gain more? So I'm going to go very teachery, and I'm literally going to go. So if you brought a pen and paper, or if you're taking notes in your phone or whatever, I told y'all bring some notepads. I'm literally going to go down and say there's something for every letter in the word influencer. So letter I, here we go. First in influencer. People of influence have integrity. You are a person of integrity. We're going to talk about character traits kind of in the beginning. But integrity, I always use like the basic definition of you always do the right thing when no one's watching. Anytime I go to an interview, I feel like that's something that it's just something in my soul. Like I have a guilty conscience or something. I'm always going to do the right thing, even if no one's watching. Very rarely do I want to break a rule, or will I break a rule? And then I probably sulk in it like, oh, we're breaking a rule. But integrity is something that people of influence have. If you can do right when you know what you stand for, then you're going to gain other people's trust. So that's all integrity is. Of course, we don't want to pretend to be a person of integrity. We don't want to fake it. We want to truly develop into a person of integrity and change ourselves so that we can do right by others and they can trust us as people, as friends, as coworkers, as Plexus ambassadors, sisters, whatever you want to call it. So the second letter in there is in the word influencer. In is going to stand for nurturing people. So leaders who have influence are people who nurture others. This does not come easily for me. And I'm preaching to myself. I'm not preaching to y'all. It was something that I listened and I was like, oh, I got to grow with this as well. So we are all rowing in the boat together to personal growth. But nurturing people. Now, this is basically what it is. It's going to depend on the depth of your concern for others. Okay. So maybe do some self-reflection moment as we're listening. How deep is your concern for others? How deep is your love for people? Do you have love for people over the love of your position? And this could maybe relate to anything in your life. Maybe it relates to your plexus rank. Do you love people more than you love your plexus rank or the rank you're trying to achieve? Big kind of reflection moment. That doesn't mean you need them, but what it does mean is that you're choosing to commit to them and you're choosing to love them and nurture them along the way so that they can grow as a leader as well. So far we have integrity for I, person of integrity, and you're somebody who is nurturing. You nurture people. Next letter is F in the word influencer. A leader of influence has faith in people. You believe in others. You don't have a fear. You don't have a dislike for them. You don't look down on them because people can see through that. People can see when you're faking it. And I think that's really important for us to make sure we are being authentic about, because notice I'm saying we, myself is in this conversation too, and maybe I'm not talking to you, but I'm just saying I'll just say I can get easily in this rush of one more person. It doesn't matter who they are, one more person, right? To grow my network or to grow my business or to grow my team or to hit the next rank. But if I don't have true faith in that person, at some point they're going to read right through me and they're going to see that I'm not fully there for them and that they're just a number. And so we have to, again, not fake it. Again, this is all about reshaping our character. If you are in a position, I believe we can all get better in areas, but it's not about faking. It's about choosing to be remade. So going through steps in your personal growth journey, reading the books, finding what your weakness is and really honing in on it to grow in that, taking action steps to make you better at that certain thing. I know I've probably mentioned this before, but one of my weaknesses in doing some personal growth, surprisingly, is personal relationships. I don't know how to word this in like a 30-second synopsis, but it's kind of like I'm half guarded, not really. Like I don't think I have my guard up, but to others I probably do. If I know you, if you're in my circle, then I'm like, oh my gosh. But if you're not in my circle, then I'm probably not this outgoing person. And some of you may have experienced that, so I apologize if you're like, oh wow, like she didn't talk to me. But that's something that I have to work on. And it's not that I'm trying to fake it so that my business will grow. It's truly so that people trust me and see that I believe in them and that I value them and that I do enjoy them. I just have to come about it a certain way. I have to have faith in people. And we don't ever want to put labels on people, of course. Like I put in there, when we believe in others, we don't want to be afraid of other people. We don't want to dislike them deep down, but be like, oh, but I would love for them to be a VIP customer, that'll grow my business, but I don't really like them. We don't ever want to be like that, of course. We don't want to look down on other people. We truly want to be remade. We want to be working on ourselves to where we are the influencer that has faith in other people, and people see that as authentic. So integrity, nurturing, faith in people. The fourth one is an influencer listens to people. Now, again, preaching to the choir over here because I'm guilty of this. Okay. I should just rewatch this training for myself tomorrow. Let me just tell you. But a person who listens to others, think about, ask yourself these questions. Do I let the speaker finish before interrupting? And I know I'm not talking like you're just chatting with your girlfriends and stuff like that. That I feel like that's kind of a different category when you're with your bestie and you interrupt with like, oh my gosh, girl, I know. That's it, and you share your story. I feel like that's a little bit different. But do you let this person speaking and finish before you interrupt? Do I listen to what they are really saying? I have learned to do like this. One of my best friends in the non-plexus world, we've literally been friends since diapers. She, to me, is like one of the purest people, and she is, if you're an Enneagram follower, she's a 9, so she's like the peacemaker, and I'm a 3. I'm like the go-getter, success-driven, whatever. So we're like perfect disaster to be like not friends, but we mesh so well. Like she calms me and then I like bring her up. But anyways, she is somebody who I feel like has the most authentic conversations. She listens so well. She hears everything and is so engaged in a conversation. And as I've gotten into my adult life, I love having conversations with her because I aspire to have a conversation like that as well. And since people want that as well, they want to be heard, they want to be listened to. Do you try to soak in key facts and then remember them? It's really easy to become distracted when you're talking to people, right? There's so many distractions to where, your kids may be running around or your phone is doing this, that, and the other, or your mind is elsewhere while people are trying to talk to you, but every conversation can be so important and so impactful. Plexus aside, I mean, really, this is a training on how to be an influencer, just to be a better person, right? Not just a better leader for Plexus or whatever in life, but we listen to people better. We make an effort to be interested. We're engaged in that conversation. The next one in influencer is you understand people. This kind of goes hand in hand. If you're listening to them, truly listening to them, then you should be able to understand them. And I loved these two things that John Maxwell said. If you can understand the mind, I'm pointing to my heart, sorry. If you understand the mind, then you're going to understand what they're achieving, what they want to achieve. Okay, what they're thinking, what they're going for, what they're achieving. But if you look at their heart, if you try to start understanding their heart, then you're going to understand their hopes and dreams. And I feel like we have several leaders on this team, I mean, immediately that just come to my mind that I'm like, oh, they know, because they've taken the time to listen. They've taken their time to be invested. And I can point to some of you right here. My hopes and dreams. What my family is wanting to. What our big why is, because you've taken the time to listen and truly understand not just what I'm shooting for as a goal, but what I'm shooting for as a goal inside, And so really understanding people. And that's something I'm working on right now, is truly trying to branch out with my people skills, like I said a second ago, okay, and get on the phone with people, have those conversations where they know I'm listening to them and that I have faith in them and that I understand them, because you can get to know somebody totally different talking to them on the phone or talking through them in Zoom or meeting up in person than texting. And it's hard because a lot of people don't want to hop on the phone. They'll be like, no, girl, you can just text it to me, but hopping on the phone is something that is a big goal of mine, because I know it's just going to grow me in all of these different steps, and it's going to help grow one of my personal weaknesses in my leadership. And so when you understand people, again, you don't want to do this out of a fear or out of selfishness, because that could cause a barrier. And so notice all of these first 5 that I've mentioned kind of deal with character and attitude, and it's all about being authentic, true, doing what's right, nurturing others, having faith in others, understanding and listening, because people can see right through that. So growing ourselves more authentically with our character and our attitude for our leadership. That's like the first half of the influence. And the good thing about that, everyone can adapt. Everyone can grow in those areas. So there's nothing, hopefully, that I have mentioned in those first 5 letters of that word that will make you be like, oh, shucks, I'm not good at nurturing people. I'll never be good at nurturing people, and I don't want to nurture people, so I guess I'll never be a good leader that has influence. I think all of us are hearing this and probably having a little bit of light bulb moments of either like, oh, I'm really good at that, or oh, I do need to work on that. Yeah, I can sense that inside. And so all 5 of those that I've mentioned are things that we can adjust, we can be remade, we can work on ourselves to improve in those areas. Okay, second half. I'm doing good on time. Second half of influencers, we've got INFLU. The next letter is E. I feel like I should be like having a PowerPoint or type this out for you guys. But E is somebody who enlarges people, okay? People become bigger around you. Obviously not in size, but just in their personality, in who they are, in the way they stand up, the way they speak, the way that they walk with more confidence, the way, exactly, Rachel just said confidence, the way they just feel like a bigger and better person. They're doing better things. Maybe they're making better choices. You are somebody who brings somebody up to the next level. Okay. Are they a bigger and better person today because of you? And so for me, in order to grow other people, we have to grow ourselves. I will never be able to bring somebody up to the next level if I am not also bringing myself up to the next level. If I'm bringing somebody up to the next level and they surpass me, then somebody else must be growing them up there, because I'm down here still. So I have to grow myself constantly in the books that I read, in the way that my time is spent, in the way that where my mindset is, all of those. I've got to continue to grow myself so that I can grow people, because that's the only way I'm going to grow my team. Okay. So enlarging people. In the word influencer, you are somebody who navigates for people. And he gave some really good, I can share this whole podcast with you guys if y'all want, but he gave some really awesome examples of a team. I'm trying to remember, like when you go kayaking or whitewater rafting, how there's like always a guide, and the guide is telling you like what you've got to do as you go. It's like they see the big picture, they know the plan, and they're guiding you through it. And so I loved that picture that I had in my head of somebody who's navigating for others. And then like guides, there was a story, this is actually a true story, of like two guides that were bringing a team to climb Mount Everest. And I don't know if it was like the whole team that passed away or the guides that passed away, but I'm off my track. I should have listened to this better. But anyways, it's basically like the guides, maybe the guides passed away and then the other people survived. I'll have to go back and get the fine details, because now I'm like off the train tracks right now with this. But basically, it was a really good story about how important it is to navigate for others, to lead that way and be the problem solver. Because I think it was without those guides, the other people on the team would have died. And so it's like they were like the ultimate sacrifice. I'm not saying you got to go sacrifice yourself, but we as leaders are going before others. We are problem solving before others. We should be seeing a problem. And yes, okay, I'll share that. It was like really a 30-second story, and I'm drawing it out because I don't remember the details. But anyways, we should be seeing the problem ahead of time and then already solving the problem ahead of time for the people who are coming behind us. So we are guiding alongside them through all the rough territory, but we should be first to solve it, or first to see it and first to solve it, navigating for people. Is your journey going to probably be a little bit slower when you're going with others? I loved this. Yes, because not that other people slow you down, but you yourself are having to move at a pace to guide your people, which is a good thing to a certain extent, right? You're guiding them along, but your goal should never be to be done first. I love this. It's to have someone with you when you cross the finish line. And I feel like I've heard Jill say stuff like that, or Rachel, they talk all the time. Like they don't want to go on these jewel diamond trips by themselves. They don't want to go to leaders retreat by themselves. Because what fun is that? They want to be there with all of us. They want to be there with our team. They don't want to show up to convention and be on stage by themselves. There's more joy, more pride, more happiness, more fulfillment, more, I don't know, I don't want to fill in the blanks for you guys, but there's more when you're standing there with other people who you have brought up alongside you along the journey for them to have success too. So that's a part of the piece earlier. It shouldn't just be about me, because people will see that. I'm trying to look back where my notes were. I said that. Oh, well, I can't see where I put that in my notes, but we want to bring other people along with us. So next letter, we're getting to the end. C of influencer. So we're to the last three. C is somebody who connects with people. Just easy with that. We find their agenda first. And of course, there are boundaries and there's a time and place. I'm not saying anything that you got to go do. You have to go cater to a million other people. But when you're connecting with people, we are focused on how we can help them first. So notice this kind of has a theme of like others before me, growing other people before, with me, but bringing people along, growing people, navigating for people. How am I serving people? How am I going to love people? How am I going to connect with people? How am I going to make other people feel important in the world? Not just Plexus, but in this world. And I think that goes alongside with anybody's faith journey. If you are not a believer, then I pray and hope that one day you will be influenced by some amazing believers on our team. I feel like I know most people on here, and I know your heart, and so I feel comfortable saying that. But y'all, Jesus was the best influencer. Think of how many times he connected. I mean, he did all these things, but when I said this, I just imagine, him helping other people first, connecting with them, following their agenda, obviously following God's great agenda, right? Of all the stuff he had to do. But anyways, so next letter is empowers people. So we see this word all the time, women empower women, and it's kind of thrown out there kind of often, but I loved what he said. John Maxwell says, no matter how much you work, because we have some amazing hard workers here on this team, or how great your personality is, and we have some fabulously happy, joyful, everybody gravitates to their personality people, or I'm going to put in here, no matter how great your social media presence is, because we're all here on social media and that's our storefront. No matter how much you work or how great your personality is or how good you are at something or whatever your social media looks like, empowering people will grow the organization. So you don't have to necessarily be the funniest, bubbliest, everybody loves you. You don't have to be I'm trying to watch because you do want to be a hard worker. I don't want to say you don't have to be the hard worker, but you don't have to win the medal to be the hardest worker, the best person, the best photo taker, the best caption. Exactly. You don't have to be the best at blank to be able to empower other people. Encouraging and sharing your power and position with them will help them feel empowered. Showing others that you believe in them, getting them to believe in themselves. All of this kind of ties in with that nurturing, connecting, having faith in them, all of that. But finding ways to build up others, that goes with the enlarging piece. Notice these are all like intertwined together. But empowering people, getting others to believe in themselves. And guess what? Then you're going to start to believe in yourself also. Like, I think all of these things are like just a reflection back. The more you love on people, the more your cup will get filled too. The more that you choose to help somebody else grow, you're going to be like, whew, I'm growing too. Like it's just twofold. So if we focus so much on ourselves and what I've got to do, I need to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to grow this way, whatever. We can't chug along by ourselves. Obviously, we've known that, we're doing that. We just know that in this network marketing world, but it should be so much more than just, I need more people. Yes, on paper, that's probably what it may seem. Yes, I need more people, but I want to love other people. I want to connect with other people. I want to be able to coach and navigate them and nurture them and help other people believe that there is so much more for them. That's what people poured into us. I'll tell you, that's why I'm still here 6.5 years ago, or later, not ago, because somewhere along the way, certain very important people that I respected along the journey poured belief into me and made me feel of value and of importance and connected with me on a totally different level. And that makes a big difference. Okay, the last one. And I think this one's the big kicker. It's probably one of the hardest ones. But if you're doing all of those things along the way, then this will come to fruition. The R in influencer is that you are reproducing others. So your influence as a leader, everyone else, if you influence a leader, I love this. I wish I knew the words, but basically he was like, if you influence a child, you're changing a life. If you're influencing a family, you're impacting, like you're influencing a generation or something, I don't know, or like, generations to come. And if you influence a leader, then you're influencing everyone else who looks to them. And so you never know when your next leader is going to come along. Jill did not know when she signed up what leaders were already going to be coming. There are new leaders popping in every month. People, we never know. The people who are here today, there will be new leaders next month. There will be, I mean, and that's how it should be. There should be new, amazing people stepping up to the plate and growing and all of this. But once you influence a leader, then you influence everyone else who looks to them. So imagine somebody who has like this amazing team. And I think that's the beautiful thing about network marketing. Whatever way other people look at it, from the outside looking in, they don't get it. But on the inside, we get it. Jill and Rachel and the people above them and the people above them, they have this amazing impact where like so-and-so above so-and-so impacted them, and now look at everybody that they've had, that link in the chain. And then so-and-so influenced Jill, who's influenced Rachel, and Rachel's influenced, Marissa and all of their growing team, and Jill's influenced Lindsay and all of his team, and Sarah Beth and all of her growing team, and myself and all those under me. Like, it's just this ripple effect of people who are being influenced, who are being changed. And along the way, we are reproducing, we hope, new leaders who can also be the next person to reproduce new leaders. And it's not just reproducing leaders, but when I say reproducing leaders, reproducing people who are connecting, loving, nurturing, believing in other people, building people up, enlarging their life, and so on, empowering them, and all of that. And so went on for a long time. I can send whatever y'all want. You just message me if you want the podcast link, if you want my notes that were in my phone, whatever you want. But I just felt like this was such a good topic for us to hear. Really quickly, we did this book study, and this is like probably one of my favorite professional development books by John Maxwell. I have like a whole John Maxwell shelf over here, but The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership was such a self-discovery book. Okay, loved it. I also have had this for a long time, and I'm going to tell you that I have not read it, but it's on my list. I've had this for a very long time. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. This one is on my list to read because there's a Diamond team who's doing this study right now, so I've seen their YouTube videos that I want to follow along. But the 5 levels of leadership, I actually got this from my principal when I was teaching. So, John Maxwell is respected in other areas outside of network marketing. And then I have, you can just go to YouTube, but this one, since we're talking about influence, this is a shorter read, but How to Influence People. It's just good stuff. Okay. And of course, the page that I turned to, it says, you make yourself an enlarger. You enlarge people. So, the list goes on and on. I honestly would love one day to meet him in person. I've seen him speak live, but I did not take full advantage of how amazing he is. So I hope that one day we get to, we saw him speak virtually as well, but I hope I get to see him speak live again soon. I don't know, put that bug in somebody's ear, Jill. But I can't get enough of his stuff. He feels like I'm listening to my wise grandpa, who's also kind of Santa, who's also like a little bit of Jesus. Like he's got it all going on. So that's my funny piece about him. But I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and I'll check the comments.